Right, and welcome back. Still Breakfast Central on News Central, and we're going straight to Travel Tuesday. And well, as we know that we love to travel here and on the Breakfast Show, and it seems as if there's quite a lot of development recently in the travel space that might impact the tourist economy on the continent. Now, two of these developments include Africa Free Trade Agreement and Nigeria's new visa policy. Now, why is tourism such an important conversation? Well, it's become a well-known fact that tourism is a powerful vehicle for economic growth and job creation all over the world. Now, the tourism sector is directly, and you might say indirectly, responsible for 8.8% of the world's jobs and 9.1% of the world's GDP. And when it comes to travel and tourism in Sub-Saharan Africa, the industry has a crucial role in development of the region. Now, there's some data to back this up from the World Travel and Tourism Council, and the Sub-Saharan Africa's direct travel and tourism GDP is forecast to grow by 60%, which was from 2018 back then to 2029 going forward now. But how do we create an enabling environment for travel and tourism within Africa so that we can maximize future gains? Okay, so it's all about creating an enabling environment for Afro-Tourism. And here to talk about that is CEO of Janine's travel company, none other than Nneka Okaro. Welcome, good morning.
Thank you, Olisa.
All right, I want to start first. Afro-tourism, Afro-travel for Africa within Africa seems to still be a challenge for Africans. Why do you think that is?
Well, Africa is a big scope, it's a big market to start with. I do tourism for Nigeria, basically, and it's inbound tourism, which is tourism focusing on foreigners coming to Nigeria. Africa as a whole is a wide market, and some areas of Africa actually have it good. North Africa, Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, even with their challenges and the uprisings they've had, have already repositioned themselves and they're doing very well. East Africa is having a ball. I mean, they have their safaris, Rwanda, Kenya. So I think the issue, South Africa too, the issue is West Africa. And in West Africa, Nigeria is a special case because we know that Ghana is running, they're flying. Togo is wonderful. I mean, Togo even has cruise ships ports at their ports. So they have thousands of tourists, you know, and they're busy. But Nigeria has a special challenge.
Why is Nigeria, which is, you know, one of the giants in Africa and very key to the West African region, why is Nigeria, you know, the bit of a problem?
Well, corruption is one thing. It permeates everything I'm going to say now. But the first thing is, even for people to come in is an issue. So we have business and we have leisure tourism. Business is doing well because we have oil. We have the population, which attracts companies. You know, so we have businesses in telecoms and oil and coming, you know, and they have direct links with the government and they can facilitate their entry, maybe if they pay the right amount or whatever. But leisure tourism is what's actually suffering, and that is where every individual, every citizen of Nigeria can benefit, because the funds that come in, the foreign exchange that comes in will trickle to everybody. We have sectors like transportation, so you have drivers, food, people renting out their apartments, and not just hotels as it is. You know, you have artists and you have traders and you have everybody's going to be impacted. Now, one of the challenges that I have the issues I've received feedback from my clients is the visa processing. It's a big issue. Nigeria practices the reciprocity policy, which means that for every country that asks us for certain requirements, we ask the same thing back. Yes. So when the US is asking for a list of bring your grandmother's hair, and your Nigeria is going to say, hey, America, well, you are going to do the same. And we are really not in a position to do that. Yes, so it's a challenge.
And that extends to other African neighbors too?
No, for the African neighbors, actually. You mean for them?
Yeah, coming in?
No, it's easier. West Africa,
because there's also the ECOWAS Economic Community of West Africa says.
But South Africans I know have complained.
Southern Africans,
Moroccans, others
East Africans, always a difficult. So how do we then create an environment that facilitates Afro-tourism now?
Do you mean Afro-tourism across Africa?
Yeah.
Africa for Africans?
Yes. You think it's going to be because that's the challenge now, because you just talked about East Africa, North Africa having it good, but West Africa being a problem with Nigeria. So which means it doesn't cut across.
It doesn't cut across. Africa has to be accessible for Africans first in terms of tourism industry, moving from one place to the other with an African passport. Yes.
We know recently that President Buhari of Nigeria announced a new visa policy with a couple of changes. You think that's going to help the tourism industry, or more? It's just more of the business side.
It really should help, but till implementation takes place, we can't see how it will pan out. So it's to wait and see. It should, the way it's stated, should actually make it easier, free movement within Africa, and it really will be a blessing if Kenyans and Rwandans and Moroccans are coming to Nigeria to drop money. Then it's an added bonus for us.
Okay, not to really focus so much on Nigeria, because you pointed out about the business travels, which seems to be doing well, unlike that, the leisure travels. So you mentioned about Ghana is having it good. Why do you think that is?
I just came back from Ghana yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yes. The challenge
was it business or leisure?
Oh, I went to have fun, but my business is about having fun and relaxing, tourism, you know. So it was actually to explore prospects of expanding our business to Ghana.
That's Janine's travel.
Yes, Janine's travel. So that will run from Nigeria through Nigeria, Benin, Togo, and Ghana, because a lot of requests we get are for these areas, but most of the time they just want to come to Nigeria for a day or a night, and then go to Benin and do the Benin to Ghana tour, because those countries are safer. It's easier to move around, you know.
And this is basically road?
Yes, road. By road. And even when they go to Ghana, they do the tour from Ghana to Benin and go back. Okay,
so what did you observe then? How many days did you spend?
About a week. 10 days in all, Lome and Ghana.
With Lome, so what did you observe?
Lome is a quiet city. It's safe. You can walk around. Foreigners are walking around. You can't imagine anybody walking around the Jolegba here. You know, and you are not a Nigerian. Even Nigerians don't do it. You know, you have to be seasoned to take the risk of just moving about like that. So there's ease of movement. So people are comfortable. The crime rate is much lower. You know, you don't have to put your bag in front. Like, you can actually hold it by your side and walk on the road.
So as a business, after just spending 10 days in Ghana, Lome, looking for extend your travel portfolio, what would you say, you know, will be the findings? Is it going to be positive? Because these are West African sub-regions now we're talking about here.
Yes, it's definitely positive. Getting into Ghana as a foreigner, not just as a West African, is easy. There's a visa on arrival policy where you can pay $50 at the border and get your visa stamped on your passport. We don't have that. For Togo, it's the same thing. For Benin, it's the same thing. So ranging between 30 and 50. For Nigeria, there's no visa on arrival for leisure, for tourism. For business visa, there is that. But even with that, it's not exactly visa on arrival, because you still need a visa on arrival pre-approval letter from the Nigerian Immigration Service, which you present at the airport or border before your passport is stamped with a visa. And getting that pre-approval letter is a whole process on its own.
All right, so it's going to be a challenge now to really extend this kind of West African, you know, travel opportunities for West African passport holders into East Africa, because we are talking about creating an enabling environment for Afro-tourism. And when we talk about Afro-tourism, we're not talking about West African tourism or North African tourism or Southern African tourism, East African tourism. We're talking about Afro-tourism itself, which should, you know, promote ease of movement from one region or the other, despite whatever policies each countries might have, because you are going on the tourist travel, leisure travel, which is basically to see sights and, you know, just enjoy things. Doesn't always have to be business. before you can really get that bit of leeway? Do you think the existing governments have to change something in their policies to help out?
Well, it doesn't always have to be business, but even if it is business, they can be married. So someone on business can also decide after 2 days of doing business to take a day or two more and enjoy the other part. So I won't necessarily say that they are mutually exclusive.
All right, and for companies like yours, Janine's Travel, beyond West Africa, what about East Africa and other African?
Yes, we also do tours. That's because it's outbound, even though it's Afro-Tourism, it's outbound travels. And as much as I love to package trips to Marrakesh and Kenya and the rest of them for my clients, I also am of the opinion that our own should be
first.
Yes.
Man.
We need to grow because there's so much. The money is lying on the streets. I mean, as a tour guide, you just decide one day to take people around, and you've earned money. We know about our country. We know we've lived here. We know where to take them. We know where things happen. We have the history. There are lots of tourist attractions all over the country. Osogbo, Ife, Tinapa, and all the waterfalls that are either abandoned or not being taken care of because we are neglecting it. It's easy money.
All right. Well, easy money, as they say. Well, we'll have to ask you guys. You guys know better. You're the ones to do all the packages. Thank you so much, Nneka Okaro. Well, if you enjoyed watching this video, click here to get more of it. And don't forget to click here to subscribe.